Okay, all right. So you know that that was a question we did in the last class. Okay. So there were parts there, A, B, C, D, and E there, right? So we finished part E as well. But I told you now, let me tell you that it's not actually necessary that you have to write the answer where I actually reason, because you can come up with your own evaluation as well. Like if it is written, do you think break-even analysis is sufficient for John to decide about the most suitable option to choose for expansion, right? So after discussing the advantage and disadvantage, you can say break-even analysis is sufficient for John. But for that, you have to give solid reason behind it. Or you can say break-even analysis is not sufficient. So what I wrote, if you see that, in my opinion, break-even analysis is not sufficient, right? And then I actually gave the logic behind it, the reasoning, okay? That why I actually uh, not supporting break-even analysis, okay? But you can go the other side as well, no problem at all. So doesn't matter what whether you support the statement of the question or you do not, still you can get maximum marks. That is 6 out of 6, right? But I thought that maybe I have more reasons there to go against it. That break-even analysis is not sufficient. So that is why I wrote that and I gave the reason, because I was able to develop that. So it's up to you whether you support it or not. But remember, always give your opinion for which you actually know the reasons behind it. So if you are giving your opinion and do not know what are the reasons behind it, that how can I actually back it up with the logic or with the reasoning? Okay. So if this is the case, so do not go or do not support that statement at all, right? So in that way, it's difficult to say that break-even analysis is sufficient, because break-even analysis is not the only tool which is required to decide about which is the most suitable option. So that's why break-even analysis has certain flaws, certain disadvantages as well. So that's why I actually went against that. I said break-even analysis is not sufficient. But in such type of questions, okay, which actually require evaluation, and they usually start with do you think, or they say justify your answer, that when you will give your own opinion, justification is required as well. So you can go either side, no problem at all whatsoever. But you have to give the justification behind it. Otherwise, you won't get mark for the evaluation at all. And you can see that here, after giving the evaluation, we are able to get 6 out of 6 for the whole part of the question, because we actually require 2 more marks there, right? So we already got 4 out of 6 earlier for knowledge, analysis, and application. So then we got 2 more marks for evaluation, because in a 6-mark question, 2 marks are there for evaluation. That is giving your own opinion, and you have to back it up with the justification as well. Right. Okay. So Hamna, Zainab, and Manha, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So now we'll be talking about uh, the next chapter. Okay. So let me just show it to you. And I told you earlier about it. I'll tell you again so that if there is any confusion, you can clarify it. Uh, yeah, this one. So we covered cost, scale of production, and break-even analysis. We did that way back when I started teaching you, right? So now we'll be talking about chapter number 22, that is business finance needs and sources. And then we'll be covering 23, 24, 25, 26, right? So now 22, that is business finance needs and sources. So let's discuss that. Let me quickly get it. All right. There we go. All right. So chapter 22, business finance needs and sources. Right. Now, before we start the chapter, you need to know what is business finance. Anybody from Hamna, Zainab, and uh, Manha?
So, business finance is the money or the capital that the business has in order to start or run a business.
All right. Good. Good. Anybody else? Nobody?
So it means that the amount or the all the cash area or the money type of system the business is handling.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Hamna. So that's good that you are participating as well, because I know that in the school you might have studied that chapter, or you are still in the process of covering that chapter. Now business finance basically includes obviously money. We understand that. Okay. So it actually includes the amount of money which is required to run a business. Okay. So now it's not only about running a business. Before running a business, you need to set it up. You know that. It means money or amount which is required to set up a business and to run its activities as well. So both types of money which is used for that purpose, we call it business finance. Now, let's talk about, let's say you want to start a fast food restaurant, or you want to start a beauty salon. So for that, for, what do you require? You require a certain amount of money so that you can buy a shop, or you can hire a building on rent. You require labor as well. Then you need to buy raw material as well, right? Or the equipment which is required to provide the services to the customer. Let's say if it is a hair salon, so you require scissors, combs, certain types of creams as well, and other stuff as well. You know that. Okay, once you set up your business, now there will be running cost as well. Okay, and what is that? You have to pay the electricity bill, the utility bills, salaries and wages of the workers as well. So it means that to run your business, you need to spend money on regular basis, apart from uh, setting up the amount you actually spend on setting up a business. Because when you buy a piece of land or you buy a shop, this is the expenditure which you require to set up your business. Okay, then you require some equipment, let's say machinery. Okay, let's say you are running a gym, so you require certain gym equipment, right? This is all expenditure which is required to set up a business. But after you set up, there are certain expenditures which are there on regular basis. So you know that you have to pay wages and salaries to the workers on daily basis. Similarly, you have to pay electricity bill on monthly basis. Similarly, let's say if the building is on rent, so rent needs to be paid on monthly basis as well. And then you have to buy other equipment which like, okay, still now maintenance of equipment. Let's say if gym equipment is there, but now maybe some of the equipment is out of order and you need to repair it. This is also a running expenditure, because it happens when obviously customers use the equipment. So it is possible that one of the equipment or the gym equipment might not work, so you might need to get it repaired. This is also part of the expenditure which will be supported by business finance. So mainly there are two types of expenditures I told you. One which you require at the start, and the second which you require on regular basis to perform business activities or to provide services to the customers on regular basis. So I hope it is done. So now I'll talk about in this chapter what are the needs and what are the sources. Now, what does it mean? It means, why do you require business finance? Although we have discussed that, right? But still, we'll talk about it in this chapter. What is the purpose of business finance? Why do we require it? Or why do businesses require it? And secondly, what are the different options available to businesses to get that finance? Okay, and we call it sources. Okay, the options which are available to businesses to get a certain amount of money so that they can meet their needs, we call it sources of finance. So we'll be talking about the purpose of business finance and the options available to businesses, that is the sources of finance which are available to business for meeting the expenditure of business. Right. Any problem up till that? Zainab, Manha,
No,
Hamna?
sir.
All right.
No, sir.
No,
All
sir.
right. Okay, thank you. So moving onwards, we'll talk about why do businesses need finance? We have already discussed that, right? So let's have a look. To start up the business, I told you earlier, to set up your business, you require certain expenditure. So let's say, for example, I want to set up a shoe factory. For example, I want to set up a shoe factory. So what kind of expenditure which will be there at the start of the business? I want
So
answer from
first,
you. Yes, Amna?
first will be the land where you're gonna set up your
All,
factory.
all right. Very good, Hamna. Just okay. All right. Thank you very much. Yes, land will be required to build a factory over there. So that will be your first, you can say, setup cost. Right. And you require a certain amount of money to buy the land. What else? Mana and Zanab?
Sir, the employees.
One by one. Yes, Mana?
Sir, the employees and the raw materials that he needs.
All right. Okay. Now, actually, okay, yes, Mana, you answered. Okay. Zanab, you want to say something?
Sir, I was going to say that labor and its wages.
Okay. All right. Now, listen, it's perfectly fine. But remember, when you hire workers and you pay them salaries and wages, they are paid on regular basis. This is not that sort of expenditure which you spend at first or at the start of the business and then you do not need to spend, right? That is why it doesn't come under those types of expenses which actually are at the start of the business, right? Similarly, if I talk about raw material, again, if you start your production, you require raw material, but you will be requiring raw material on regular basis. As soon as you produce something, you will require more raw material, so you will be using that raw material again. Then again, you will be needing furthermore. So it means the cost of raw material and the salaries and wages given to workers, this is not a kind of expenditure which occurs only at the start of the business, right? So this is not
So,
the setup cost. Yes, please. Yes, Amna.
so they might need machinery because if they need the machinery goes for lifetime most of the time. So
Yeah,
he
Hamna.
needs machinery for operating and making the shoes and stuff.
All right. Great answer. Great answer. Very good. Yes, that's right. So it means that if you require now, imagine you buy a land. Okay, this is one-time cost. Okay, you do not need to buy the land again and again, right? Then you may construct a building over there. Again, this is a one-time cost. Okay, you do not need to construct a building again and again, right? Okay, after that, as Hamna said, that you may require an equipment, machinery, some kind of technology, right? Again, this is a one-time cost. Okay, you spend to buy equipment or machinery. Now you will be using it for a long time period. Okay, so think about land, building, and equipment which is required. This is generally a one-time expenditure, or you can get the benefit for a longer time period. You do not need to spend money on them time and again. That is why this is actually the at the start, usually at the start of the business, right? So now there are other types of expenditure as well. I hope Zainab and Manha, you got it, na? Manha, I didn't
Yes.
hear you. Okay, all right, all right. Then to expand the business. Yes. So first to start up the business. Now if you want to expand, again, you might require another building. You might require another piece of land. You might require more equipment, machinery, or technology, right? So this is also a certain type of expenditure which will be a one-time cost, but because now you are expanding, so you have to spend more. It happens, na? You start your business from a small, you feel that now there are plenty of customers coming to your shop and you are not able to entertain them because there is not much space there. So you construct another shop, you buy another piece of land, right? This is expansion of your business. So again, you require a certain amount of money for that as well. Then to deal with difficulties facing the business. Yes, it is possible. Now, what difficulties business can face? Can you have any idea? Anybody? Yes, Mana? Uh, Mana, I'm not able to hear. I think there's a problem on your side. Yes, Zainab, Hamna, you want to say something?
Sir, your voice is glitching a lot.
Okay, all right. Okay. So it was it clear previously, or should I repeat something? Can you tell me?
Please repeat the third point because it was glitching a lot.
All right. Okay. Fine. So as soon as you find that my voice is not clear, you can let me know. Okay. Third point is to deal with difficulties facing the business. My question is, what difficulties a business can face where they require finance? That's my question.
So they might be like us all of the sudden the machineries have stopped and it has some fault, or there's some problem in land which the factory is having problems, means like it's government, illegal things and stuff like that. And
All
these are
right.
the
All
main big problems.
okay. Now, difficulty can be related to finance as well. Hamna? Yes, I
Yeah.
understand that if
Maybe, sir, maybe
some
they
machinery,
are producing something too much and then the people are not consuming it, and it's just like they're not getting as much as they're spending, they're not getting enough revenue back.
absolutely, Hamna. Now you actually got the point. So yes, that's right. Because machines can be repaired easily. This is actually part and parcel of a business. When you run your business, you know that machines they get out of order and then you need to repair it. But sometimes you start and you that customer you are spending a lot, right? But you are not getting money to run business because so for that software, and for that what do you do? One of the common source which is used by businesses could be that you can lend money from the banks. But there is a problem. If your business is suffering loss, banks also have to pay you. If you're suffering loss, so you might close down your business because you are not running it successfully. So how will you be able to pay our money back? So this could be a problem, right? For loss-making businesses, banks usually hesitate to lend money. But this is one of the options which is available. If you tell them, right now we are suffering losses, but we earned profit in the past and we have the potential to earn profit in the future as well. Okay. So if you actually give them the assurance, they may give you the certain amount of money you require as a loan. Okay. Apart from that, sometimes what happens, it's not all about losses when we talk about difficult times. Sometimes what happens that you are selling goods, okay, but customers are not paying you timely. I hope you understand the term credit sales. Do you know about it, na? Credit sales. Manha, Zainab, and Hamna?
Yes, sir. No.
Yeah. What is it? What is it? Credit sales? Anybody who can define.
Sir, Mana is trying to explain it, but I don't know if you can hear her or not.
Sir, can you hear me now? Sir, sir,
सर आपकी आवाज़ बहुत ग्लिच कर रही है.
All right. Still, it's now. Is it clear, Hamna?
Yes, sir.
All
sir,
right. Yes, Hamna.
sir, now can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Sir, you asked about credit sales. So, credit sales are the sales that we make to our customers and they do not pay us at the time, but they can pay us like after 15 days, a month, or 2 months, or the given time period that we give them.
Very good. Very good, Bana. That's right. So I'm telling you, for example, you sell goods on credit. Let's say you are in the business of textile. So you manufacture clothes and you sell it to the shops. Now you actually, let's say you sell it on credit, for example. Now, if you sell it on credit, it means money will not be received by you on the spot, as Manha said, right? So you may get it after 15 days, a month, or maybe after a couple of months. This is how it is done. Na? Why? Because you want to facilitate your customers that, okay, if you cannot pay on the spot, you can still buy it and you can pay later. So this is the facility given to the customers to increase sales. This is the tactic used by the different businesses, right? So if they do it and customers, even after 15 days or the set time period, they do not pay, they linger it on, they delay it. So it means your expenditures are still there. You are making expenditure, but you are not getting the money back in the form of revenue, right? So now we say this is not lost. Remember, this is financial crisis. That right now you do not have enough amount of money to meet your daily expenditure, like payment of wages and salaries to workers, payment of electricity bill, right? Buying raw material. Now imagine if you won't pay to your workers, will they be ready to work for another month? Of course not.
No,
Similarly,
they won't.
yeah, okay. Similarly, if you do not pay your supplier for the raw material even after a month, so will the supplier be ready to supply you another batch of the raw material? Obviously, again, not possible. Similarly, if you won't pay electricity bill, so will the electricity supply be provided to you on regular basis? No. So it means you have to meet your regular expenditure. So for that, you require a certain amount of money with you, which is readily available, so that you can meet these expenditures. But if customers are not paying, they are delaying it. Now there is a problem. You may get the money, okay, no problem, but you may get it late. But what is the issue? That you have to make an expenditure on monthly basis. So if you are getting the amount after 2 months or 3 months, you are getting it. But how can you run your business then? Because you are not able to make your expenditure on regular basis. You are not paying your workers on monthly basis. You are not paying to your supplier as well. You are not paying the utility or electricity bills as well. So business will collapse. Now, this is not because business is suffering losses. Remember, business is still at a profit, but they are getting their money late. But they cannot postpone their regular expenditure, as I explained to you. So, for that purpose, business can lend certain amount of money from the bank as well, so that they can resolve that issue. They can say, all right, we require a certain amount of money from you for a month or maybe for a couple of months, and we can pay it back to you later on, as soon as our customers will pay us, right? So one of the facility which is there in banks, similar to loans, that is what we call overdraft. Do you know what is an overdraft? You all three?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
Sir, overdraft is when you do not have enough money and you take extra money from the bank and you have to pay it later.
All right, very good. It means, for example, now remember, overdraft facility is only given to those people who already have an account in the bank. Remember, right? For example, you have 10 lakh rupees in a bank, right? This is your money. But now you require 12 lakh rupees, 2 lakh more than the amount which is there in your account. Because you are an old, loyal, and trustworthy customers of the bank will give you that facility. That is what we call overdraft facility. They'll say, fine, you can actually withdraw 12 lakh rupees instead of 10 lakh. Although you have only 10 lakh rupees in your account, okay, in our bank, but we allow you to take 12 lakh rupees. Now, that extra 2 lakh rupees is called overdraft facility provided by the bank to businesses. Okay, but the businesses can get it, but they have to pay it back at a short notice. Remember, okay, because you might have to pay it back after, let's say, 20 days or 25 days, 28 days, okay, after 40 days, okay, and this facility is available to those businesses who are facing financial crisis. Remember, I am not saying loss. Remember, there is a difference. A business facing financial crisis is something which is different from suffering losses. Because suffering loss basically means business is actually going towards a failure. Customers are not buying from them. So eventually, no customers will buy from them, and then business will collapse. This is a business which is suffering loss, right? The other is business is facing financial crisis that customers are right now not paying, but eventually they'll pay. Then business will earn profit as well, and business will be able to pay back the amount as well, which was taken from the bank as an overdraft facility, right? So they can do it. So it means if business faces financial difficulties, business may require a certain amount of finance as well. And I told you what kind of finance can be taken. There are other sources as well, but we'll talk about it later. I hope that you now there is a running now there could be to meet your daily expenses. It's not written there, right? The point is not written there, but you can write that as well. Businesses need finance to meet their daily expenditures, payment of wages and salaries, electricity bill, payment of rent, cost of raw material, okay, and stuff like that. So this can also be part of this as well. I hope you got it. Can we move onwards? Should we move on?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Now you will tell me that there are two types of expenditure. One is called capital expenditure, and the other is called revenue expenditure. Anybody who can tell me what is the difference?
So capital expenditure is the expenditure that is only for once, for example, the buying of land or buying a building or buying machinery. However,
All right.
revenue expenditure are day-to-day expenses, for example, maintaining your machinery or buying the raw materials and paying wages, etc.
All right. Okay. Great. 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 Okay. Let me now write it somewhere so that you can get it even more clear. Now, I'm writing this is capital expenditure. Now, there are actually three features which are found in such type of expenditure. Capital expenditure. Now, you you spend once as a business. You spend once, but the benefit you as a business spend once, but the benefit is obtained for a long time period, right? Okay, this is one of the feature of capital expenditure. Secondly, this is one. Second, it increases it increases the capacity of the business to produce. Remember, it increases the capacity of the business to produce as well. This is also part of it. Okay, now, so if I talk about the examples you just gave, let's say it's about uh, buying of a building, buying of a, let's say, new building, let's say buying of a new building, right? Now, when you spend money on it, so what do you think? The above two conditions, are they are they there in this sort of expenditure? Like, you spend money on business once, but you get the benefit of that building for a very long time period. You know that. Okay. Similarly, when you buy another building, now it increases the capacity of the business to produce more. Let's say you produce stuffed toys, okay, in a factory. Now you actually bought another factory. So it means it will increase the capacity of the business to produce even more stuffed toys, right? So capital expenditure always increases the capacity of the business as well, right? So whereas if I talk about revenue expenditure, revenue expenditure, so again conditions, one is each time, each time you want to get the benefit, you have to spend again. Okay, or every time, I think it's a better word. Every time you want to get the benefit, you have to spend again, right? Think about, okay, let me just give you the second condition as well. That is, again, it does not increase the capacity of the business to produce. Remember, so now think about uh, uh, paying wages and salaries to workers. So, for example, you pay workers for a month, right? So, can you get the benefit of the workers for the second month without paying them? Is it possible, Mana? Hello? Is it possible? Hamna and Mana?
Yes, it's possible, sir.
How? How? Okay, listen, I'm saying you pay workers for a month, okay? You use them. So, is it possible that you can get the benefit from the workers the next month as well without paying them?
Sir, no, if they are working with you for a long time, and then they have like a trust between you, and then you suddenly you just don't pay them, they might have worked, but if you're new, they will not work for you
Yeah,
if
oh,
you
yeah,
don't
that's
pay.
fine. But I'm saying it's not about that the business says that we will pay you later. No, they say we won't pay you. So will they be ready to work for the second month?
No, they will
No.
not.
So it
because
means now we can, yeah, yeah, please go on.
because
Go ahead.
everyone works to get paid at the end, because they need to move on with their life as well. They need the money as well, so
Absolutely.
they, yes.
Very good. It means both conditions are met. So for example, if I write here, I told you earlier, uh, salaries and wages. So now both conditions are met. How? Every time you want to get the benefit from the workers, you have to pay them salaries and wages again. So it means it is a recurring expenditure. You have to spend time and again to get the benefit. Otherwise, you won't get the benefit. And it does not increase the capacity. Let's say there are 100 workers working. You keep on paying them on regular basis the same salary or wage. So they will be producing the same output. Okay, will it increase the capacity of the business? What do you think, Hamna? Will it increase the
N-
capacity?
j- no, it will not increase if you do not pay.
Absolutely, because the same number of workers are working in the first month, the second month, again, the same workers are there. So they'll be producing more or less the same amount of output. So it won't increase the capacity. So remember that revenue expenditure does not increase the capacity. Now think about, if you buy machinery, machinery increases the capacity because it's a new one. Earlier, it was not there. Let's say you were using one of the machinery, now you have two. So you will be able to produce more. It will increase the capacity. This is capital expenditure. But if your machinery is not working, which is already there, and you get it repaired, it won't increase your capacity. It will bring your level of output there, which you were achieving earlier when the machine was fine. So once you get it repaired, you will actually reach at the same level. It won't increase your capacity. So don't get confused. Buying of machinery is capital expenditure, but repair or maintenance of machinery is a revenue expenditure. Okay, all right. So there's a small exercise for you. I will be asking you, and you will be telling me whether it is a capital expenditure or a revenue expenditure one by one. Right? Okay, let me show it to you. All right. Now, capital expenditure first. You understand this. If you construct a factory, this is a capital expenditure. Why? Because you will be getting the benefit for a long time period. You spend once, right? And it increases the capacity of the business. If you, let's say, buy another factory or construct another factory, money spent on fixed assets more than 1 year. So you understand, it means all sorts of expenditure which is spent to buy fixed asset. Now, there is a name used other than fixed asset, that is non-current asset. This is the latest term we use, non-current assets. Non-current assets are those assets which are kept by the business for a longer time period. You buy them and they stay with the business for a long time period. It means you keep on getting the benefit from that asset. So you know about assets now. Assets. What are assets? Anybody? No idea, Amna. Because Mana is not able to speak. Na? Mana, can you tell? No. Okay. All right. As yeah. Yes, Amna. Wanna say something?
No, no, I was gonna say something. Assets are the main, the things we use.
Okay.
Means I
Assets.
cannot explain, but I know what it means.
Okay. Or it's fine. It's perfectly fine. No issues. Assets are all those items which are owned by the business. Okay. And the assets, I'm talking about assets, are those items which are owned by the business. Okay. But if they are non-current assets, they are kept by the business for more than a year. It means businesses keep on getting the benefit for a long time period. That is why whatever amount you spent on fixed assets or non-current assets, they are called capital expenditure, all sorts of expenditure. So when you buy machinery, okay, so you spend once and it stays with the business for a longer time period, na? Because you have to use it to produce. It's understandable. And revenue, so let's say because you have to pay for those expenses, money I told you earlier, it means you have to spend time and again to get the benefit. Otherwise, you won't get the same benefit. Okay, if it is a revenue expenditure. So once you spend a certain amount of money, you want to receive a certain amount of benefit, right? But revenue expenditure is that sort of expenditure that once you make it, you get the benefit. If you want to get the benefit again, you have to spend it again. Just like I gave you the example, cost of raw material. You buy raw material, you use it for the production. Now stock is not there. There is no raw material left for the production. So you'll buy it again. You will spend money again. This is revenue expense. Day-to-day expenses, you know about it. We have discussed it about it. Now, this is the exercise you'll be doing. I will be asking you one by one, right? So let's first ask Zainab. Zainab, purchase of building. What is it? Zainab, purchase of building. What is it? I think Zainab is not able to
असल
talk.
में मेरा नेट खराब है आप अपना क्वेश्चन रिपीट कर सकते हैं
Yes,
मेरा
my
नेट
question. Okay, Zainab, purchase of building. How do you classify it? Either it is a revenue expenditure or a capital expenditure.
कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर
Capital
फिक्स
expenditure.
एसेट
And all right. And what is the reason, Zainab?
सर क्योंकि फिक्स एसेट है
Very good. And you will be using
लास्ट
it for
फॉर
a
मोर
longer.
देन 1 year और समथिंग
Yeah, it increases the capacity of the business and the benefit will be enjoyed for more than a year. Very good. Yes, it is a capital expenditure. Water rates. Hamna,
Sir, they are revenue expenditures.
Why?
Because they are not fixed, it comes like for a short period of time and it changes every time.
All right. Okay. Don't say fixed term because water rates is not an asset, remember. But you can
Yeah,
say it's a recurring expenditure. It's not a one
re-
time expenditure.
recurring. Okay.
Yeah, recurring. And you have to spend again and again to get the benefit of that water facility, right? And that is why it is a revenue expenditure. And it does not increase the capacity of the business, remember. So you are correct. Water rates is a revenue expenditure. Now, Manha, can you talk or still you have a problem?
Sir, can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes. Yeah, very clear.
Okay, sir. Staff wages are revenue expenditure because we have to pay them every month and they do not increase the capacity of the business.
Very good. Excellent answer. Revenue expenditure. Office computer, Zainab. Zainab, can you tell me? Office computer, revenue or capital? What sort of expenditure is it? I think Zainab is having some problem. Hamna, can you answer?
Sir, it's capital expenditure because it improves the. It's a capital expenditure first of all because you buy it once and it stays for. It's a fixed asset of a business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fixed asset. It stays with the business for more than a year, and you get the benefit for more than a year by spending only once, and it increases the capacity of the business as well. By using office computer, you might be able to provide services or produce goods faster. So capacity will increase. Yes, correct. This is a capital expenditure. Now, gym equipment. Mana,
Sir, gym equipment is capital expenditure because it is a it is a fixed asset and you do not have to pay it on daily basis and it increases the capacity of the business.
you're absolutely right. But can you tell me, just think about the context of a gym. How gym equipment increases the capacity of the gym? Can you just elaborate?
Sir, if the gym has the equipment, they would the people who are coming to the gym would be very happy from the business and they will keep on coming. So the business will keep on getting the revenue they are getting.
Okay, all right, but remember, it's not about getting more customers. Capacity is not related with customers. Remember, capacity is related with how many customers you are able to deal at one point of time. Okay, so it means if you have more gym equipment, you have greater capacity to entertain large number of customers. Let's say earlier only 20 customers were being entertained because you were having limited gym equipment. Now you actually have bought one more, so now you can maybe add five more customers. They can come to you and they do not have to wait. They can You can still provide them the services of the gym, right? So because this is increasing the capacity, because this is a service business now. So why I'm telling you, this is slightly different. It is not something which you produce, because gym, if you are actually running a gym, it's about providing a service. So we'll rather talking about the goods, we'll be talking about customers. If you are able to entertain more customers, it means capacity will increase. So gym equipment will definitely increase the capacity of the gym to entertain customers, right? So why I'm telling you, because you know that in business studies you have to use the context as well while writing your answers. So yes, it is a capital expenditure. And finally, maintenance of equipment. So Zainab, are you able to talk? Zainab, please, Ada.
Sir, can
Sir,
you
Yes, Zainab. Yes, 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 Zainab. Go ahead. I can hear you. Zainab,
repeat the question?
maintenance of equipment. What is it? Revenue or capital?
Sir, it would be revenue expenditure.
Reason.
Sir,
Zainab,
क्योंकि
what? Yes, yes. Yes, Zainab. Go ahead. Zainab, you don't know the reason?
sir, can I?
Yeah, sure, Hamna.
Because maintenance, you just have to do it when your machinery gets faulted, matlab, when
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
some fault and it does not happen for a long period of time, and it does not affect it every like throughout the year. So it just comes for
okay.
a while and it goes away.
So this is what? Is it a capital revenue, Hamna?
It is no, it is a revenue expenditure.
Revenue expenditure. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you can say that maintenance is that sort of expenditure which you have to meet on regular basis. Now, when I say regular, it does not mean on daily basis. So maybe after a month or so, or maybe after a couple of months, after 6 months, you might need to take some part out of that equipment and you need to replace that as well. Okay, some part is not working properly. You might need to replace that. This is maintenance. So it happens with every equipment. It is not possible that you keep on using the equipment without maintaining it. So that is why, because it is a recurring expenditure, so this is actually a revenue expenditure, and it does not increase the capacity. The equipment is there. Okay, if you maintain it, will it increase the capacity, Hamna?
No.
No. It means it will be producing the same level of output which the equipment was producing earlier. That's it. Okay, all right. It means that right now, let's say machine is producing 10 items. So now because there's a fault there in the machine, now machine is able to produce 5. Okay, but this is not the capacity of the machine's capacity is 10. But right now, because of the fault, it is producing 5. So when you actually replace the old parts with the new one in the equipment, now machine is back there at 10. So now it is the same level achieved by the business. So no increase in capacity at all. This is a revenue expenditure. Okay, any confusion regarding now uh, uh,
No,
revenue
sir.
and cap? Okay, all right, great.
No, sir.
All right, so I may like to involve you in different games as well, because I do know different websites where we can actually play games. But those games are like MCQ forms. I will show you maybe some at some point of time where you will be answering questions, a sort of quizzes, and then you. But right now, because this is an online class, so this is very you can't play the game. I will be playing it for you. That's why I'm not using it. Otherwise, if it is a face-to-face class, I might be involving the whole class by dividing the class into different groups, and they uh, uh, um, uh, would be playing, would have been playing that game. But because we have no such arrangement, so we can't do it. Huh? So maybe grade 11 after the summer vacation, I might involve you in those games as well. They're very interesting and it actually makes your concept very clear. All right. So sources now. I'm not going to talk about this why and business either. It could be a expenditure. As capital and revenue expenditure. So we are done with it. Now we'll talk about the sources of finance. Okay, but we'll talk about it in the next class tomorrow at 1. So that is all. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next class.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay.